Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Universus Academy podcast. I am your host, John Jennings, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Ryan Kraft and Mr. Matt Childress. How we doing, boys?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Doing well, doing well. Just
Nice,
enjoying this weekend.
nice. Glad to hear it, man. Um, Before we get into some previews, got a little bit of housekeeping and news, like stuff like that from Jasco. If you don't know, Jasco was at Gamma this week, and if you're not familiar with Gamma, it is the Game Manufacturers Association, and it's kind of like a convention type thing where gaming companies put out their displays and kind of what they're previewing, what they're gonna have for sale and offer, and that kind of stuff for retailers. So like a lot of independent hobby stores and stuff like that go out there. And so Jasco was out there this week, showing what they have coming up. We do know someone posted a picture in the main MHA Discord of an actual holding a box of Crimson Rampage. So we know it's printed. We know it's there. So we know it's coming soon, right?
It's
It
been spotted out in the
exists.
wild. It's real. These spoilers aren't just a dream.
Yeah. So we have we
Previews,
actually
not
know it's out there.
spoilers.
That's right.
Spoilers are a
Get
dream. Those don't happen.
yeah. So we know that's out there. We know that's going on. One other thing we had come out this week. I guess it's obviously from Jasco. I don't know where it originated or how it showed up, but the official organized play website is actually live now, and you can go make an account. You can make events and stuff like that. I know our locals yesterday was actually like on that website and listed there. Um, like I said, I don't really know like how it came up. I just know I think Ryan, you found it first and you sent us the link, and so I was like, well, screw it, I'll make an account. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, someone posted it on one of the Facebook groups, so I was just like, I'll click this link, see what's up, and
Yep.
yeah,
What's the
I
worst that
mean,
could happen?
yeah, what's the worst that could happen? But yeah, I got it pulled up. Like, it's got all the events people have listed up, and from like Nevada to South Carolina, where we're at, Wisconsin, like it's got everything. So it'll be easy for people to actually find stores to play at now that have events going on.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I can tell you trying to use the site to make our event yesterday and report stuff and all. It definitely still feels like it's kind of going through some growing pains. So Jasco, if you're listening, when I tried to access it on anything that was running iOS, so any Apple device, it did not work. Like it was timing out. It would not communicate. Um, Tried it both on cellular network and on Wi-Fi. Couldn't get it done. However, if you do it on a PC, like from your desktop, works perfectly. And this site is comprehensive. Like it is really nice. I've ran events for old card games I used to play. I've ran events for Jasco in the past. Like this is easily something that they've clearly put a lot of effort and a lot of money into to make sure that these players and these events are really good and it's a good experience. So strongly encourage everyone to use it. Definitely would recommend troubleshooting and figuring out what's going on there. If Jessica, like I said, if you're listening and you want to reach out to me directly, I'll be more glad to tell you what specifically the situation was. Like how what problems we ran into. But that's a real small thing, right? Like
Hmm.
we just recorded it down,
Hmm.
and then we just were able to. I was able to upload it all when I got home in my PC. So again, easy workaround. Great to
Hmm.
see. Very excited to see it, because that's also, in case anyone's wondering, that should be how you start getting those participation points or whatever for the locals and stuff to
Hmm.
put towards your redemption, your loyalty program points. So that's pretty exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, and
And I believe, or go ahead, Ryan.
I'll say I have the website. I've had it up on the screen so people can see it as we've been talking. But just
Okay.
want to say, take a look right here. You can see I went undefeated yesterday and beat Matt. So check
Oh
that
yeah,
out.
yeah, we're gonna talk
See
about that.
Matt
Yeah, it's cool.
in second place, and you see me in first. So I just wanted to see that works, and it's good.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, you just got lucky that I
Working as
wasn't there
intended.
because how'd that go last time, Ryan? Who was undefeated last time?
I wasn't there last time. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you were. Yeah, you were there.
I don't
yeah.
Written in the
John
actually.
went
down.
undefeated.
There's actually no official records of that on the MHA website that I see, so I
Fair
couldn't
enough.
tell you.
That's true. Fair enough. It's not on
Yeah,
the website. So.
and the time before that, I went undefeated. So I'm just saying, we're
Mhm.
taking turns. It's okay. We're rotating it around.
And actually, yeah, the time before that, I did go undefeated with Kamui Woods.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
is.
that's
It's
true.
literally like we're
That's true.
rotating at this point. It's weird. I don't know.
Yep. Anyway, uh, I think also actually on the website there was the next provisional. I think it was actually posted on there. I don't know if it's still there or not.
Let's
Um,
see.
The one after Omaha, the one after Legendary Wolf.
yeah, it's on April 16th. I think it was another PPG one or something like that. It was an online event. I could be mistaken though. I was looking at it
That sounds right.
because I got really excited if that is true, because
Mhm.
that weekend works for my personal life. So I'd be very excited to play in that again.
It does still show up on here, but I mean, this has not been officially announced, so it's just
Yeah.
pure
Yeah, So who
Random
knows?
speculation at
Take
this
that with a
point.
grain of
Um,
salt, guys. That could be an old event.
yeah,
We're just back here using the internet, reading things. We don't know if it's actually legit or not.
yeah. Because there actually also, as of right now, there hasn't been an official announcement from Jasco, I think, about the organized play website itself. So I imagine
Yeah.
maybe once they do that, if this is the actual next provisional, that'll be coming that announcement.
Yeah, well, think about that. How cool would that be if they announce like, "Hey, here's our software, and here's the new provisional that's going to use this, and then
And
also
here's a
here's your
release
next
date.
chunk." Yeah, and here's a release date, and here's another chunk of the provisionals that we have lined up, like the next 3 through the next couple months. Because that is one thing that I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten yet. Like they did a really good job. Hey, here's these 3 provisionals up front, and it got us through. That was back at like the end of February. It got us through March and into April, and then it's not been anything. Like so, it's like 30 days of no new provisionals, which seems odd because those events have been selling out. Like
Mhm.
we're about to have our first in person one. It's sold out. Like these things are hot. People want these promos. People want to play. And you want to maintain that momentum. Like you want to keep giving people what they want there. So I would fully expect us to hear another round of provisionals sometime, hopefully in the next week or so. God willing, a release date because that's going to shake things up even bigger, man. Like if they do like they've been doing, where like as soon as the cards are out, they're legal. I mean, the provisional right after set two's drop is going to be crazy.
Yep. Speaking of set two, let's go ahead and transition on over into some previews. This past week,
Reviews.
previews. This past week, our previews were brought to you by Tamron Cardwell. If you're not familiar with Mr. Cardwell, go ahead and over to Tamron Cardwell on Twitch and check out his awesomeness. I believe also Rochester Games did
Yep,
some, as well
they
as
did.
Ty's House of Cards.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, go check those out. And then I think the rest were just on the regular MHA Facebook page, Discord type stuff. But the first one we have is an Uraraka card. The first 7 or so are all from Uraraka. It is an attack called Double Jab Pummel. It is one of her 2 ultra rares. It is a 4 difficulty, 3 check, +1 high block, 3 mid for 5, charge punch, combo charge. Combo enhance. If this attack is blocked, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Your next check to play a card gets +2. Deadlock enhance. Your next check to play a card gets +5. Yeah, I think this card's pretty good. The numbers are solid. Obviously, card cycling is always good, and giving your next check to play a card is +2 is seems pretty good. That part is also not conditional. The last part about your check doesn't matter if your opponent blocks your attack, right? Because it's just after. It's like the next sentence. It just happens. It'll always happen.
Correct. Well, it's the whole you do what you can. Like so,
Yeah.
once you use the ability, you do any of the things that it can do.
Hmm.
So your next check can always get to play a card can always get +2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the draw 2 cards. It's like there's a comma if it's not blocked. Da 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 da. Then it's a new
Mhm.
sentence. Your check gets +2, so it'll always get
Yeah.
+2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this card's solid. It's low
Yeah.
difficulty. It's a good high block. Mid zone's not great, but whatever.
Yeah. The only problem with this card is that it's 3 speed.
Mm,
But at the same time, it rewards you if they block. So the speed kind of doesn't matter as much, like
mm-hmm.
they don't really want to block this attack in a lot of situations because they probably don't want to let you cycle. Like this is a free latent skills. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
latent skills on an attack that then buffs your next check. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, you know, not to mention with Uraraka, her trigger is after an attack is blocked, you draw a card and discard a card, and then your next check gets +1. So with this, she cycles 3 and her next check gets +3. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just never blocking this attack against Uraraka because she cycles half her hand. Like,
Yeah. Unless it's gonna kill you.
yeah. And even further, she actually chooses when those triggers happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she could say, dig through the 2 first, doesn't like one of the ones she gets, pitch it. So that way she doesn't, it's not like she has to get rid of 3 and then just draw 3 blind ones. Like, she
Yeah.
can kind of customize that experience to kind of go from there. So, yeah, I think this card in her is going to be incredibly good in
Mm-hmm.
Uraraka 3. I think it's going to be, I think it'll find a home in some other decks as well, especially having charge on it. So you kind of have like Jiro can do some cool stuff with it. It combos off a charge as well. Um, it's got punch on it, so you got All Might 3 can randomly
Yeah.
use this
For the
also,
air.
add some
Yep.
speed to it to make it harder for them to block. So that way maybe he just filters some cards and makes his other stuff easier. So yeah, this card, it's worthy of being an ultra rare. And I think people are going to want to play this card and you're going to see it in some decks.
Hmm. Yeah, this card seems like a good follow up on an air deck if you lead with like long lasting explosion. Because this comes down with +3 damage, right? Uh,
Yes, it's damage for mids.
yeah. So you're like, hey, here's a 3 mid for 8. Do you want to block it? If you do, okay, cool. I'm gonna draw some cards and cycle my hand and filter and get it what I want. Or you can just take 8.
Yeah. You can just take 8 to your face. How's that feel?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's also a charge attack for, like you said, for the stuff like that. So Kaminari also likes that it's a charge attack, right? Because that works with his
Mhm.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is a good one to trigger his stuff too, right? Because
Mhm.
he's like, all right, well, if you block it, I don't get to trigger and clear, but I do get to cycle. Dig for
Yeah.
that jolt.
Very true.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, starting off strong. I like that. Like that card a lot. Next up, Matt, we
Yes, sir.
have Zero Gravity Barrier. Could you tell us about
Yeah,
that, please?
absolutely. So Zero Gravity Barrier is her other ultra rare attack. It's a 4/2. It's got a +1 mid block, and it's a 3 low doing 6. Charged and ranged. It has the static that says, if this attack is added to your momentum, add it face up. So similar kind of some of her set one cards there. And then it says enhance momentum, remove, discard one momentum. So you have to have this card and an additional momentum to use this, and you remove it from your momentum. And then it says add your rival's attack to their momentum. They may draw a card. Then it also has the enhance that says just for free, switch this attack speed and damage. So this card is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 2 momentum isn't free. Like this is and even further, this removes. So there's a finite number of times you're gonna be able to do this. So it has a very real cost, is what I'm getting at. But it is worth it because there are so many situations where if you can just abort an attack, like now granted, they have to play the attack, make the check, they get their first enhance, and then you're like, let's not do this. And you can even wait till they go even more in and wait till it gets to a point where like, oh, this reciprocal burst is actually lethal now. They did their plus ultra on it. They've spent their resources. Cool. Abort this. Like this card is gonna see a ton of play. Uh, Only way it doesn't is if there ends up being a lot of really efficient momentum control,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I've been asking for since we started playing with set one, right? I've been like, capture evildoers, I need it. I need all these other
Mm-hmm.
cards. Like there's because right now you can't really interact with momentum outside of a few cards. So
Mhm.
that being said, if you don't have those cards in play, you just have to look at this card and you're like, well, I guess I play through it somehow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. No, I agree. This card's nuts. And like you said, it does require the 2 momentum. Um, I'd say I think that would be more of an issue maybe in like a void version of this deck, but I feel like air and chaos have a lot of like kind of free momentum gain. Like they have a lot more access to generating extra momentum. So maybe in those decks it's a little bit easier. Um, but yeah, no, I agree. This card's just generically like really strong. Like numbers all the way around. It's a 2 check, you know. I think it totally earns that 2 check
Mhm.
because it can be
Oh
you're
yeah,
just oh shit, get out of jail free card, right?
right. And you can't do it multiple times because it removes, like,
Mhm.
even if you sat down and you had 2 of these in your momentum, like, that's kinda your worst case scenario as a player because 'cause you're like, "I don't wanna remove both of these for 1."
Yeah.
Like, you wanna remove some other jank momentum you got artificially, but to your point, like, Air and Chaos get access to things like Charged Up, you know? Charged Up just gets this online. They take 1 hit, you're like, "Boom, gonna add this, and I get another one instantly."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wealthy Aspirations, like, all these other things that just get you a random 1 momentum make this card live, like,
Yeah. I
um
mean, this card in Uraraka 1 specifically just gets online immediately if you have wealthy aspirations, which is good.
oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
There is a lot of targeted momentum hate that I guess not a lot, but we've seen like 2 cards already, right? We got Capture Evildoers and the new Todoroki card that gets rid of stuff. So,
Yeah,
And there's
people
what's
are,
their plan?
yeah, that's not targeted though. It does make
Oh,
a
that's right.
discard
You said
one.
targeted. Yeah, sorry,
yeah.
targeted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
even if it's not targeted, like, just making them discard one, like, you
yeah.
make them do their math differently, right? Like, they have to build up to 3 before they can sit comfortably on this, um, and one of those removals is from hand, which is way stronger,
Mhm.
but that
Yep.
being said, Air and Chaos also get concentration, so they can just counter Capture Evildoers if they need to, and negate it, so, like,
Yeah.
they can protect this momentum if they really have to from that,
Also,
and that's one of the 2. The other one's on the board, and they can look and see that's coming, so, like, I don't know. I think this card's gonna be a problem for some people. Like, strap in, boys. We gonna start aborting some attacks.
They also get concentrate to just get the momentum.
Yes, yes, they
Yeah.
do.
So,
Yes.
um,
Spoilers. You're gonna want 4 of those for this deck.
yeah, yeah. I think this card is going to be really good. I'm definitely going to be packing momentum hate in my decks for
Dude,
sure, for sure.
what kind of next level play is that? You're sitting here, you hit them with one of these, right? It's just sitting in your momentum by itself, right? They push it on their turn. You take a hit early, then you start blocking some, and then you're like, oh, on this attack, we're gonna concentrate, add this down to my momentum, and then we're gonna abort this last attack.
Mm-hmm.
What a blowout.
That is, yeah,
Seems good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Good luck drawing all those cards on defense in these symbols, though.
Yeah, hopefully you're still alive by turn 3 too.
Yeah. I think on air I'll be all right.
Mhm. Next up is Fighting Spirit. Ryan, would you like to tell us about Fighting Spirit, please?
Sure. This is a 2/4 foundation with a +3 mid block. Air Chaos Void. Response flip. After your rival plays a non-character ability that reduces the damage of an attack, cancel it. Yeah, I mean, so this stops like all the damage resets in the game. Like every single one of them, they like reset stuff back to printed damage or whatever. So I think you'll be seeing this card see quite a bit of play. Quite a bit of play. It is a 2/4, but you know it's got void control symbols on it, and sure, why not? Air and Chaos are not really symbols that do this normally, but hey, why not? We'll take it. But yeah, I think this card will see a lot of play. I think it's really good, and I like the art on this card too. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the +3 block. I get why it's a +3 and why it's a 2/4. This is a really strong effect. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, in Ryan's point, so even though it says return to printed, that's considered a reduction because it was larger. So it doesn't have to actually say just minus damage as to be considered a reduction. So that's what he was getting at. And yeah, it's strong.
Yeah. Next up, we have Training with Gunhead. This is still Uraraka. It is a 1/5 foundation with a +3 low block. It has ally and weapon. Enhance. If the check to play this attack was modified by an effect, this attack gets +1 speed. Enhance remove. Reduce the damage of this throw attack to 2. All right. So kind of on the opposite end of stopping your negation or stopping your damage reduction. This also now obviously reduces damage. So the first enhance I think is solid. Obviously, Uraraka is going to be doing a lot of +1 to control checks or whatever, and her support's going to do that. So it's probably a pretty easy +1 speed. It's also a free. You just do it for free. That always feels good. You don't have to commit or flip or anything like that. Yeah, and then enhance remove, reduce the damage of this throw attack to 2. Dobby feels bad.
Man, Dobby don't care about that. He ain't trying to play
I-
that ability. It's fine.
Yeah, I know it's fair. Yeah, no, I think this card's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's hot, dude. So like you said, in Uraraka, it's going to be insane. But
Mhm.
anything else that just even slightly modifies, so that also affects breaker. So if they breaker block you, that modifies your control check to play that attack.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So like then if you play through breaker and you got these in play, you're like, cool, I got 3 of these in play. All my attacks are getting +3 speed now, or this attack, I should say.
Yeah,
Not
the
all.
next one. Yeah.
Yeah. But like that's good. It's got a low block. That's really good.
Mhm.
And then most importantly, Void Eraser has hope. He has hope again because he can burn these and then he can go and block it and capture evildoers to gain back the 2 health. So he takes 0. It just
Yeah.
requires 3 cards.
Villains defeated.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, villain speed, not capture evildoers. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Just
maybe-
before the comments say it.
Maybe we won't die to like 19 damage reverse throws anymore. Maybe we can just reset it back to 2. Let's go.
Mhm.
Yeah, baby. We got a
Although now we got
chance.
to be careful with tape swings. I know everyone calls it a throw, but it's not actually a throw.
That's true.
Right,
Untouchable.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, so
tape swing's
just don't hit that.
still too good.
Yeah.
Too strong.
Yeah, but also to your point, like Matt, about breaker. Also, Stain's stuff is about modifying like effects. Like so, this if you're playing against Stain and you are able to pass after his ability, whatever, like
Yep.
this will get you some free speed.
Yeah, and like that ability is not going to be online unless you're Uraraka. And even for
Yeah.
her, it's not always online. It's just making her gain a benefit for her rival playing defensively, you know? to help her try to make it harder for them to play defensively. And I think that's a really cool design space. Like I already was excited to test out that character, and the more I've seen her stuff, I'm the more excited I am to try to test out that character because she seems kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Next up we have Shrapnel Cloud release, and I believe Matt's going to tell us about that.
Sure. So Shrapnel Cloud release. It's a
There you go.
5/3. It's got a +2 low block. It's a 2 high doing 7. Um, charge, flash, and ranged. It says response. After this attack is blocked, your rival commits 1 foundation. Um, I think this card's incredibly okay. Like it is flash, that's cool. It is 7 damage, that's cool. It's a 5 diff. Like I feel like if you open with one of these, they're just gonna be like, yeah, dude, whatever. I'll block this. It's a 2 speed, you know? Sure, again, Uraraka gains some benefit if they block, helps her filter, all that sort of jazz. Um, but unless you have a way of preemptive or proactively adding speed onto this attack to try to push that 7 damage through, um, I don't love it. And then it rewards you kind of for them blocking. So it's like this like weird pseudo stun 1, but they choose just like with stun. So it's not like targeted committal, So I don't know. It seems incredibly okay.
Um, I agree. It's not like the greatest thing ever, like you said. Just kind of like another card we mentioned earlier with Uraraka, her attack. This is probably not a bad follow up to Long Lasting Explosion. A 5
Sure.
high for 7 flash after you've already played an attack probably isn't pretty bad.
Yeah. It's not a
Uh,
6 diff, but yeah, it's still good.
yeah, it's not a 6 step. Well, I mean, maybe if you're playing it like in Bakugo or something, maybe he's clearing the card pool.
Sure.
But
He can't clear this one though. So for the record,
oh yeah, he couldn't clear this one. But
yeah, for the other one, sure.
yeah, it's got
Yeah.
charge, so we got Jiro stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I agree with Matt. I think this is an okay card. It's got a decent block. It probably has a spot in a few decks as maybe like a 1 or 2 of.
Yeah, there could be this cool air flash deck that comes out of this, because you already got sound waves and you got the other low attack that the name eludes me at the moment.
Amplified Sound Blast.
Amplify Sound Blast, thank you. And so like you have this kind of cool starting to form like an air flash lineup, and I love flash, one of my favorite keywords, but I just don't think that this card is like crazy, like, and that's okay. It's a common, like it doesn't
Yeah,
have to be crazy. It's playable, 100% playable.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess on Air and Void, you also get the Gran Torino attack that if it's not blocked, your next attack gets speed. And then you also have like Void Ida that can just dump 3 speed on this as his first attack and say catch. It's 5 high for 7. Like throwing that on turn 2 seems like not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can actually get into some more attack. Like make them block that. No one wants to eat 7 damage to start their turn,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you find ways like we just were discussing to add some speed to this attack,
Yeah.
totally different. Like the fact they can't interact with it and they just have to block it or take it. Like that's why Flash is good. It just
Right.
busts through walls. The best defenses at that point are blocking, and a lot of people don't like to block. So
Very true.
Yep. Next up, Ryan is gonna tell us about Training Knife Strike.
Training Knife Strike.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to tell you about that right
It has
now.
maybe my favorite art so far. It's so
So
hilarious.
that look, right?
Yeah, it's just
That face.
Just the fact that Uraraka has a pocket, like she has like a switchblade. Like, what is she doing?
I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut you so bad. You wish I haven't cut you so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So Training Knife Strike's a 5/3 attack with a +2 mid block, 3 speed mid for 5 damage, with charge, EX2, and weapon keywords. It has a Void character enhance. If this attack is not blocked, your rival discards a card. And Deadlock enhance, add up to 2 other attacks in your card pool to your momentum. So like it's opposite Hardened Chop, right? So you want them to block this.
It's soften chop.
Yeah, soft chop. But yeah, I mean, generically, just making them discard a card, like if they don't block it, like it doesn't let them hold on to cards. It makes them actually get rid of something. That being said, if you're not gonna like throw a string of attacks, this basically gives them an extra review step if they're holding on to a bunch of stuff they don't want. So, I mean, in the right deck, I think it could be good, but I think it's a totally fine card. 3 speed, 5 damage on a 5 diff is not the best thing in the world, but I guess you're playing it for the discard.
Yeah, I mean, it's got EX, so like if you have one momentum, it becomes a 5/5, which is on average, right? That's pretty curve.
You just
Um,
played an E to 3, right?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can play this in E3. Um, you can play. I think what's cool is this card has charge and weapons, so it double triggers Jiro on air,
Mm-hmm.
which is also pretty cool. It's a 5 diff, so that's not great, and she can't use either of the enhances until they build into Deadlock. But that Deadlock enhances bananas. Clear your card pool, get to momentum.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna murder you this turn. Is what I'm about to do.
You
Like,
gotta get your
Yeah.
zero gravity barriers online with this card.
mm-hmm.
There's
All
also
of it.
best friends with Binding Cloth Assault, right?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
in your Void Eraser because it's the weapon combo. Then he just like,
Yeah.
all right, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and draw 2 cards real quick.
Yeah.
Eh,
Is that combo though?
uh,
I think it combos off combo.
combo is his ultra rare. I'm pretty sure.
Is that not what you're talking about?
I'm just talking about the 4 diff, the one that's
Sorry.
If it deals
maybe I
damage,
missed
draw a
it.
card.
No.
No, that's the kick. That's,
Oh, and this combo attack. Yeah.
Mm. Man, listen to us have this podcast about this game we supposedly play, but don't know any of the
Oh
cards.
yeah, you're,
well,
you're
to
talking
be
about the
fair, no one
rare.
plays the Razor's attacks because they just don't do enough. You know, like
You're talking about Binding Cloth Assault. Combo
Yeah,
weapon.
Binding Cloth Assault, right? It's
Yeah.
the 4 diff. Yeah.
Yeah, discard 1 to draw 2. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that card's real good with this one.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Can I get you ahead on some cards there? Make them discard one, and then or block it, and then next one you get, to go up a card.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Next up, we have Confused, which I believe is our last Uraraka card to talk about.
You mean
It
like
is-
we all were about the names of those cards?
Ooh, hey now, yeah, so prescient. Confused is a 2/5. It's a +3 high block, enhance flip. Remove 1 attack from your rival's discard pile and choose one of its keywords. This attack loses that keyword and cannot gain keywords. Good news, boys. The drought is over. We have more President Mike support.
That's all that matters.
Where's my
Yeah.
button to play the applause sound for you?
Yes, just get him with the Jeb Bush. Please clap.
Please clap.
Uh,
No, but seriously, this card's really good.
Yeah, I think this card's super solid. It does a lot of cool things. Like there's a lot of random things. Like Ryan and I were talking a lot the other day about how like a lot of characters are designed around a certain keyword in a certain kit, of attacks, kind of like
Mhm.
a lineup. And
Oh,
this just disrupts that, so it's really cool.
can I shout out once again, my boy Ida1. He loves this card. He like takes your first enhance and then gets rid of any keywords you want to use.
Mhm.
Like this card's gonna be amazing in Ida1, I think. And just add to, I mean, between this and like fulfilled my duty in that deck's gonna be nasty.
Mhm.
It's very disruptive. Yeah, I mean, like
Yep.
steal that first enhance, choose whatever keyword. You know what the real tech play is though? The 1x of the card. So that way it's like the only powerful card in their deck. Like they got that 1x Detroit Smash and they're like, what now, nerd? Got him. I'm meta in the meta.
Jesus.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I think it's a really strong card. Like you guys were saying, it disrupts combos and things like that. Yeah, I think it's a really strong card. It's really interesting. Next up, we got a couple of actions and one more foundation to talk about. Next up, Matt is going to tell us about aiming for number 1.
Aiming for number 1. I absolutely am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely am. God,
Matt
where's
actually
the
loves
end of
this card.
list?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Matt,
actually,
Matt
do
is
like
a
this
big
card.
fan of this card.
I don't want to say big fan. I like some of the things that this card's trying to do. All right, so it's a triple infinity, so you can play this in any character. 3/5 with a +2 mid block, and it's unique. And then it has set 2 character response commit. After your rival adds any number of cards to their hand due to their non-character effect, they discard a card. And then it has response remove. After your rival adds any number of cards to their hand due to their non-character effect, you can draw 2 cards, and anyone can use that. Doesn't have to be set to. So what I liked about this card and what I'm glad to see from this card is the fact that it's an interaction between players, right? So right now, there's not a whole lot of effects that you really get to interact with your rival when they do stuff, and this is getting back to that sort of approach where it's like, hey, you did something. Well, I'm gonna make you second guess if you want to do that or not. So, like for example, if they just have something that's like draw a card, you could be like, no, commit. You discard a card. You know. Now, granted, they get to draw the card first. So, like if they had two in hand, they're still going to end up with one in hand. But that's not a commit cost. You can only have one of it in play, but you can do this every time they go to draw a card, assuming it's not on their character card. Um, do I think this card's insane? No. Do I think it'll find a lot of play? Probably not. Should it be an ultra rare? E. Um,
Mm.
but I do think that the fact this effect is on a foundation and that they're bringing this sort of stuff back to the game is good for the game. And I'm excited to see that. It does make me kind of sad that I guess it's unique, but they didn't want it to be able to empty hands, I'm sure. Because if you had three of these in play and your rival draws one card and you make them discard three, you're just going to end some games real quick. So, yeah.
You guys ready for the aiming for number one wars where
Mm.
I draw and then you draw two and then I draw two off your draw and then we all just draw cards all day? It's
That
gonna be
sounds
awesome.
amazing.
It's gonna be awesome.
Um, yeah, I guess we can do that. We're both just remove ours to draw two whenever the other one draws two.
Yeah, we're just gonna be like, let's buff these hands up and get
Yeah.
these numbers up. These are rookie
We
numbers.
working
Up,
together
up.
to become number one. Who draws cards better?
No, but for real though, I do not like this card at all. I think the like set two response is pretty bad. At the very best in my eyes, it's just like I shrug my shoulders at it. I'm not excited about that, even though I do think there needs to be card draw hate. This ain't it for me. Because then it just turns their card draw effect into a cycle, and I mean I already am fine with playing cycle abilities. I'm cool with that. But yeah, I mean I guess the draw two, sure, it's fine. Whatever, man. I know that I am probably the minority about this card, but I do not love this card.
No, I'm kind of right there with you, Ryan. I think we kind of like talked about it back and forth in chat, and as we were talking, it kind of made me like, yeah, maybe this card isn't as good as I thought it was. And I think I even said like, this being an ultra rare, I think is kind of a feels bad if you pop this as an ultra rare. Uh, like I don't know that I really want to put this in any deck. I think we even talked about it. I wish instead of that they choose to get to discard the card, I wish it were like a random card. I think that would be actually a stronger version of this, and I actually think the bottom half of the remove is actually the better of the two abilities, the drawing two cards.
Yeah, I mean I might
I,
throw like one or two of these in the deck. Like I don't know. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like you guys both love to draw cards like exclusively,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you're heavily undervaluing the free discard, like because that impacts both your offensive turn and then if you don't kill them, your defensive options. And I get it's a commit; it's only one, and you're to your point, like you just drew one, so you're effectively cycling, sure,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not going up on cards. So, like, unless you have multiple triggers in a turn to keep drawing and going up on cards because this is unique, then you're kind of just breaking even. If and I just tapped
Mhm.
a foundation to make you do that. Like I don't think it's bad. I
I
just don't think
mean,
it's like crazy.
I already willingly play latent skill though that breaks even. You know what I mean? That being said, this card is actually really good against latent skill and signature
Yeah.
rate swing.
Yeah.
Right.
But like those effects, I'm cool with just cycling. I'm cool with staying even.
Right. And I'm not saying that you're wrong in saying that, but what I'm saying is that the this adds up. Like those are all flip effects or one-time shots. This is something that you can do every time they go to do something.
Well,
So like
once a turn, like every
right,
time once a
but it
turn.
doesn't flip, it doesn't destroy, it just commits to
Sure.
do it. So every time you go to use that recipro extend, I'm like, cycle instead. You don't get up on cards on me. Every time you go do this other thing, like, sure, I understand that you can still cycle cards and you're okay with that, but I'm totally okay with that too because you're not getting ahead on cards, which means that when I get to my turn, assuming you don't kill me, then you don't have this grip full of attacks that I have to power through or
Yeah, I
grip
mean,
full of cards.
I think you're like undervaluing how bad it's going to feel to tap a foundation to do that because it turns my effect into a cycle one stun one, and I feel like that's going to feel pretty bad on defense.
Hmm, hmm.
Only time will tell.
We will
Yeah,
see.
I don't know, man. If
We'll have to
I get
have
to
the.
requesting some assistance and I get to ready this, look
I was gonna
out.
say we're gonna have the Matt V Ryan draw and discard World Series best of 7.
Yeah, like I said, I think this card's incredibly okay.
Yeah.
Feels bad as an ultra rare.
Yeah. This feels like maybe it was the box topper and they changed it to an ultra rare or something.
Right. We were gonna give you
Uh,
this, but now we'll just put it in there.
yeah. Next up, I think Ryan is going to talk to us about a new action. It's called Ready, Set, Go, or Ready, Get, Set, Go.
Ready, get set, go. So yeah, it's a difficulty 5 control check action with a +1 high block. Okay, I like the block so far. We got air,
Mhm.
earth, and life. We have form remove, draw 1 card. So just cycles itself if you draw it and you don't really want it. And then it's got a response after your rival plays their 4th foundation this turn. Build up to 2 foundations from your hand. So obviously this seems like it could be pretty strong going second. Like you just build 2 on their turn, and then you can untap and build like, I don't know, 5 more because you got an extra card and play defense extremely well. Um, but yeah, I mean, outside of like the first turn, I don't know how strong this card will be. Like obviously it has a built-in draw 1 card, like remove it, draw 1 card. So it's good that it has that, so it doesn't feel useless late in the game. But uh, I guess what brings it home is that +1 high block. I think it makes the card probably pretty playable. I'll definitely test it out in some decks. We'll see if it's good enough. But I like cards like this. I like things that can like interact on turn 1 and change things up a bit.
I think this card's super good. Like, I think the form remove draw 1 is kind of crappy. I mean, it gives you something to do with it, but I'd rather just hold onto it +1 high block personally, because it removes for that cost. It'd be different if it discarded, but removing it is
Yeah.
gone forever. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, think about it. If you're running a deck that doesn't run any 2s or 1s, then go in second turn 1, your rival builds 4, you're like, cool, boom, auto pass it because I'm going to check at least a 3, tap my character. I build 2 from my hand. I just got rid of 3 cards from my hand. I'm going to draw 3 new ones and a bonus one, and I got 2 foundations. Let's go. You know, it's yeah, this
And
card.
now we know why we can't attack on turn 1 anymore.
Mhm.
Right, right. Like, oh man, and we know
Mhm.
Kirishima could have played this too.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Oh, buddy,
Gross.
this game is not okay.
Yeah, no, I love this card. I think this card's really good too. This is, I would say this card could be like if you're going second, I would consider this maybe like a mulligan. Like obviously, pitch away to actively search for this card because if you get a bunch of attacks and you still get to play 2 foundations, like kind of who cares, right?
It's
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
feel
so
real
my
bad when they
question
only
is,
build 3 though.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah,
touche,
but
touche.
but when they build 3, aren't you still kind of winning then? Yeah,
Not
like
if you
hey,
only
you had a
got
first.
2.
Well, maybe. I mean, like, you get to draw an extra one, and you can just review this then, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think this is gonna be really cool. I would agree. If I'm going second, I'm gonna aggressively partially mulligan to try to find a copy of it, which leads me to my question: how many copies do you end up running of this card? I don't think it's 4.
There actually going first, this actually helps you out a lot too. So
Mhm.
sorry to
You
change the
just get
topic,
you that
but
much further ahead.
you just build what you're guaranteed. Build 3, and if you have like this and 2 more foundations or something, like they're gonna build 4 going second. Then you can finish your build and then untap with like 7 fresh cards because you're gonna
Yeah.
be out by then. So I think it's good
Mhm.
on both turns now that I think about it a little bit. But to answer your
Mhm.
question, Matt, I think if you're playing a 6-hander, I would probably only play like 3, but if I'm playing a 7-hander, I'll play 4. Man, I'll see extra
Because you can
cards.
just
It won't
dig
feel as
that
bad
much
to draw
further.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it probably comes down to like how many other assets or actions you're playing in the deck, also. But like, I
yeah,
feel like 2 to 3 is where most decks would land that are going to run this card. Um,
it's
I
fair.
don't think a 1x of it does much of anything. Um,
Mm-mm.
but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to test this card out. I think it seems really cool.
Agreed. And
Agreed.
it's got a really cool picture too of
Yeah,
the start of the
the
games or whatever,
race.
everyone flying out.
Yeah,
I
the
wish I could
obstacle
get that on a
course.
playmat. That's dope. I like that.
Hmm. Lastly, we have another action called Go for the Win. It's a 2/5 with a +1 low block. Death, Fire, Good. Form, destroy 1 foundation. If your rival has more foundations than you, build the top 2 cards of your deck. Remove this card. Response: after your rival passes on playing an enhance, your attack gets +2 speed. So I think this card's okay. Obviously it's got a little bit of maybe trying to catch up on foundations, kind of like Ready Get Set Go did. Um, the response is okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm kind of I think a little more down on this card.
So like, I guess the response is fine. I guess the goal was like they pass, you respond with this, then pass, and like have some speed they didn't account for. As far as the form goes, like I feel like you can get value out of it on an attack turn, maybe like if you check Boreal on your first attack. But
Hmm.
I'm really not playing the card for that. I do like it as a +1 low block though. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And if this form, like if this card had water and life on it, I think it would be a lot better because it interacts with the face down foundations more.
Hmm.
Um, but as it stands, like yeah, I think the card's fine, but I'm probably not playing it in most decks. We'll see,
The +1 low block is really good. Um,
especially in death.
s- yeah, like those symbols can definitely benefit from some quality low blocks. So that there is that. Um, I think Ryan's right in that way. The +2 speed is kind of like a surprise kind of thing. Maybe it works out for you. I think if you're that's just like maybe in random corner case scenarios though. Like you're not playing this card for that. You're definitely playing it for the form destroy. So there's
Hmm.
got to be some sort of like interaction so that you find where this takes advantage of your foundations for you to really get value out of it. Because it's not like the last action we were just talking about, where like on your turn going first or even going second. This card's just good. Go for the win seems very, I guess, like in a smaller, more narrow kind of situations where it's going to be useful. And I don't have any cool ideas off the top of my head of how I would try to use this card.
Hmm.
Um, I do
So
like that it clears itself, so that's cool.
I think you could play this card in Bakugo because he keeps a pretty low foundation base already, so he's always going
True.
to get effect off the top. And you also can get like the double win where like if the stuff you build face down is some of his stuff that responds when it hits the discard, maybe you get
Yeah,
some value
maybe.
there. But that's not really the
Um,
only thing I can think of. But most of the time, you don't want to have an action in your hand with him, right? You just want attacks. So
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, I'd rather just run capture evildoers than him if I'm running him on fire. Off death, sure, I think this can make it in.
yeah, that's
But
fair.
yeah,
Or just run double front beatdown. Just play the best card ever.
Why not both?
It's true. Why not both? Well, I think that's gonna do it for our previews this episode. We are gonna review the rest of the last week's previews coming up here shortly. We'll have that episode out for you. Okay.
See you soon.
have a good one.
Bye.
You guys.